I'm Melissa DiFiore, this is Lovejoy Softball, and you're watching Leopard Spotlight.
Welcome everybody to Leopard Spotlight. I'm Grant Dennis.
And I'm Clayton Houts.
In this edition, we'll hit the mats with a student practicing judo.
We'll enter the forge with junior Dylan Neich.
We'll saddle up with senior Hannah Ortega.
And finally, we'll go to the club with some students who love to hang out.
But first, a quick public service announcement from us here at the Lovejoy News Network.
I care.
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 We care.
I care.
I care. I care.
I care.
I care.
We care.
I care. I care. I care. I care.
I care.
I care.
I care.
There are people that care about you, and your actions don't just affect yourself, they affect all of those people as well. If you're having suicidal thoughts, tell someone you trust or call the National Suicide Hotline today.
A Lovejoy News Network, PSA.
Chuck Norris, Lucille Ball, and sophomore Alex Lafort. What do these three have in common, you might ask? All three practice the Japanese art of judo. Let's follow Andrew and Shivani to the dojo.
2 minutes, turn them over. We'll make them miserable in the process.
Sophomore Alex Lafort has a passion for the sport of judo, but when she first joined her dojo 4 years ago, it was a different story.
What happened was my dad wanted me to get into shape because we have a history of, kind of bad dealing with weight gain and weight loss in our family, so he put me in, he wanted me to get into some sort of fighting sport because you can't punch kids and you just get thrown and you learn some morals. And at the beginning I hated it, and then after 1 year of doing it, I started to like it, moved to Texas, and that's when I got pretty serious about it and started going to bigger and bigger tournaments, and now I'm fighting for Team Canada, so it's pretty cool. Team Lovejoy, I've wrestled for Team Texas. I have not wrestled for Team US, as I am not allowed to since I'm Canadian.
Coach Ken Shallow described the unique origins of judo.
It was developed in the late 1800s by a Japanese educator named Jigoro Kano. And he pulled together all the various factions of jiu-jitsu practitioners around Japan and formed one martial art, which we now know as judo. There's no striking in judo. Judo's all throws and grappling.
All that time in the dojo has improved Alex's technique and physical prowess, but judo has shaped her character as well.
When I'm doing it, I'm just kind of isolated from the world. I feel happy, everything else goes away. It's surreal. The feeling's surreal. I can't really describe it in words. It's changed my life immensely. So before I started judo, I was constantly at home. I never went out with people. I was very antisocial, extremely shy and nervous. And then after judo, at least I didn't notice the changes because it happened over time, but I noticed that I had more friends than ever. I knew all these people. I was comfortable going up to people I hadn't met from different countries and just engaging in conversation with them.
I think Alex is an incredible young woman, and I think that she is, very dedicated to judo and other, not just judo, but everything that she tries to do in life. But I see her here in judo, and she is really dedicated, hardworking, very coachable, and respectful. She's emerging as a leader in the class. And I also see her as a strong competitor. I mean, she could really go all the way as a competitor.
When struggles with time or lack of energy seem to get in the way, Alex doesn't get frustrated.
I just kind of have to look to the front. I'm like, do I want this? I really want to be there. I really want to be on the Olympic podium for judo in the future, so I have to deal with it. There is no buts, maybes, maybe I can take a break. It's just, it's necessary. It has to happen.
This is Shivani Radhakrishnan and Andrew Khalil reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
Leatherworking is one of the oldest forms of human art, going all the way from European clothes to Native American teepees. But for junior Dylan Knight, who still practices it today, it has more than just artistic value, and it helps him to relieve stress. Parker and Cheney have the story.
I'll do this one.
A few years back, I had a cat, and I mean, he was the greatest little cat, and I wanted to mess with him one day, and I made this little stick with a string on it, and as I was playing with him, I moved it back, and it snapped. And I was so confused as to why the string snapped, and I just had to delve into that, and that kind of led me into making my own whips, looking up ways to, you know, improve my design. And my first designs were absolutely terrible. I mean, laughable. But, you know, I just kept looking into it, and finally I got to the point where it was like, you know, I think I'm ready to make my first paracord whip. And you know, I had to move on from that. And the next step was leather. And sure enough, we imported leather from Australia. And that was kind of my first, you know, leather whip. That was my first delve into the leatherworking world, and I loved it.
Dylan's interest in craftsmanship has also helped him forge a stronger bond at home.
Seriously, whatever he's interested in, it's usually something that I can be interested in, and I take an interest in what he's doing. So it's fun to get in to see him do his things and then have a little part of it myself. When he first came with the gas forge idea, which was probably 2 years ago now or more, I helped him research the design, which we got off the internet, but finding the pieces, getting them put together, just doing the finalization to get it to work.
When you start with one thing, it's going to lead to another thing. You're going to constantly improve on your designs and the designs that you have in your head. Leatherworking goes to metalworking, goes to something else and something else, and continuously you're finding new things to put your effort and passion into. And one of the other things that I've done that stemmed from both the leatherworking and metalworking was making guitars. That's one of my, you know, I love to play guitar. I picked it up maybe about 6 months ago, maybe about 8, and I loved it.
Dylan's mother has also taken interest in his hobbies, but prefers to let him have space to do his work.
I have supported Dylan by trying to stay out of his way, just allowing him to do his thing and just being supportive and watching the progress that he makes and just really being amazed at the things that he can do and just continue to support him in that way.
While some people meditate or read a book to de-stress, Dylan prefers to swing a hammer.
A lot of the times, you know, you're just stressed out from school, and the nicest thing to do is just come home and sit and, you know, smell the leather and then get right into the work. You know, it's a beautiful, you know, environment to put yourself in. I'd say it's a little bit of everything.
This is Parker Nolan and Cheney Kelly, reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
The art of dressage requires not only many hours of practice, but also a very close bond between horse and rider. Sylvia, Preston, and Bradley take us to the stable where Hannah rides like the wind.
It's always been a long-held stereotype that Texans ride horses. But rather than rejecting that convention, senior Hannah Ortega takes it to heart.
I started riding horses in 6th grade. That was actually when I moved from Plano to Lucas. And the move, along with my fading passion for dance, which I was doing at the time, that's what really allowed me to get into horseback riding, because my mom said, well, you know, Lucas is a little more rural, so they're going to have more barns. Maybe you could finally ride, because I'd always dreamed of riding.
Her mother, a former barrel racer, is one of her biggest supporters.
As a rider, she's grown, oh my gosh, so much. She started off in 6th grade, and she was terrified if the horse got above a walk. She would cry and she would get really upset. And so now she's grown to this beautiful rider who has now, you know, won 3rd place in the regional competition in dressage, and she's so comfortable on the horse. She started with jumping, and then that moved into us doing eventing, which is jumping, dressage, and cross country. And she and her horse were really good at dressage, and so then we decided to just go ahead and pursue dressage fully.
Dressage means like the training of the horse. So it's basically a predetermined pattern of movements that the horse and rider perform together, and each movement is scored on a basis of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. And at the end of the dressage test, the scores are added up and a percentage is taken, and the highest percentage wins.
Her mother and coach have helped her along the way, but her 4-legged friend Lily has played the biggest role.
I think the most fascinating thing about dressage is definitely the partnership that you build with the horse. You really have to be there for each other. You have to be there for the horse, and the horse has to be there for you, and there has to be a level of trust and respect. You have to be dominant and show that you're in charge, while also being soft and giving and showing approval when they do something right. So that's definitely something that I think is really special about dressage. This atmosphere of the barn really is my happy place. I feel that this is a place that I can go to when everything else kind of seems to be crumbling around me, but this is a safe place. This is a place where I can just be me and be with the horses, and it just really has a calming effect.
Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of Hannah. It just makes my heart full to think about how much she's accomplished and how far she's come in her horseback riding, what she takes on, and how she has given her heart and soul to what she does, and she puts every ounce of effort into everything that she does.
This is Sylvia Hansen, Preston Kahn, and Bradley Davis reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
We close our show with this edition's In the Club feature. Travel with me to Celebration Park, and let's chill with the Hammock Club.
You may have seen their flyers around the halls, but have you ever traveled to Celebration Park to hang with the Hammock Club? Senior Grace Purcell started the club to help create a sense of community between Lovejoy hammockers.
This past summer, I got a hammock for my birthday, and I started going hammocking like all the time, like literally once or twice a week just by myself. And I would go with friends too, but sometimes it was hard to like connect with friends, and I would see other people hammocking and they'd be alone. And I was like, I need to create a club where people can just text out and they have people to hammock with, people to hang out with, and hang out with friends. So in October, that's what I did. I started the Hammock Club, and it kind of exploded into 60 members, which I never thought would happen. And so it's just a place anyone can text out and be like, I want to go hammocking, and we can go do that.
Autumn Purcell said creating the Hammock Club was a natural fit for her sister Grace.
Because it combines two things that she loves, which is one, the outdoors, but she likes hanging out in the outdoors in more of like a controlled setting, you know, without wild animals or bugs or anything, and she likes hanging out with her friends, so Hammock Club gives her the opportunity to do both.
And for busy students, such as senior Nick Smith, hammocking is a great way to de-stress.
I mean, me personally, I have a lot of things going on in my life with the Red Ledger, with the soccer team, and my academics, and so being able to just go out into a place where I'm either by myself or with a few friends and just being able to relax and let loose the rest of the day is really important.
While the main focus of the club is building a Lovejoy hammock community, Grace has also seen the added benefit of making new friends.
This turned into 60 people, right? And so I didn't really know Nick Smith before Hammock Club started, and then he came to a couple meetings and I really got to know him, which was really cool. And then some underclassmen came that I would never have met without Hammock Club. And they just kind of showed up in the group text and showed up one time. So I got to really talk to them and like learn about them. And these people I really would never have met if I hadn't joined Hammock Club and created this club. And I think that's just a really cool thing of meeting new people.
This is executive producer Grant Dennis, reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
We hope you enjoyed these stories. Until next time, I'm Clayton Houts.
And I'm Grant Dennis.
And remember, if there's a story to find,
we'll find it here on Leopard Spotlight.